When it comes to anime, you guys know I just love some good old-fashioned romance anime. And although I must admit my dress-up darling did throw me off on the first few episodes, this show has quickly climbed into probably one of my favorite anime of the season. But not my favorite. Look, Attack on Titan is really good this season. But nevertheless, I am a hopeless romantic, and God, does this show perfectly appeal to me. So today, I just want to talk about it and my experience with the show. Basically, the TLDR is that Kitagawa is a gyaru who wants to get into cosplay, and Gojo is an aspiring Hina doll creator who has experience with creating clothing, granted only for Hina dolls. One day, Kitagawa catches Gojo making clothes for a Hina doll, and after a bit of back and forth, Kitagawa finally convinces Gojo to help make her cosplay. And comedy and romance ensues from there. I explained this in a previous video, but Gojo is probably one of the most realistically written high school students I've ever seen, and I hate him for that. He reminds me too much of me, getting super awkward in the wrong situations, meanwhile getting way too wrapped up in his artwork, also in the wrong situations. For instance, when doing simple measurements, he gets basically super hot and bothered and makes a complete fool out of himself. Whereas when he is over at her house for the first time, he gets laser focused on watching the anime for research and misses all the super obvious hints Kitagawa is giving him. But nevertheless, Gojo is an extremely passionate individual, and I have to admit, it really makes me admire him. He's got a heart of gold, along with a sense of passion for his art that can sometimes blind him to super obvious hints from girls, but also helps him grow as both an artist and as a person. Meanwhile, Kitagawa is basically the heart of this anime. Once again, she is surprisingly similar to Gojo, despite the show originally pushing them as an opposites attract kind of couple. She is another extremely passionate individual with a good heart, and also clearly a little bit perverted as well, which we also see from Gojo. She's a fantastic match for Gojo because she accepts him for who he is and doesn't find his passion weird. Not to mention, she is also extremely passionate about things that most other people would find weird as well. But instead of being afraid to show it like Gojo, she openly shares it and shuts down any sort of criticism for her passions. She is kind of what Gojo needs because Kitagawa is comfortable with sharing her passions while Gojo hides his. Mostly because Gojo was bullied for it. So with her, she pushes Gojo to be more open about his passions and worry less about what others think. Together they make such a good couple, to the point where just about any character who bumps into them just assumes they are dating and have to have that awkward talk about how they are totally just friends and they both blush and look the other way. Which is a trope I frankly hate, but then again, I have to remind myself that these are high school kids and, well, I totally did the same thing back when I was in high school. God, I'm getting old. But to be fair, I didn't look anywhere near as good as Gojo does. Like, seriously, I find it hard to believe that the tall, slender-built, quiet guy with good grades doesn't have at least a few girls buzzing around him constantly. Like, I was fat and loud, and even I had friends. Not girlfriends, but anyway, high school trauma aside, Gojo and Kitagawa's relationship is weirdly realistic. And although I was critical about it originally, the weird sexual tension scenes do play a purpose. They show just how awkward and unfamiliar Gojo is around girls, and although Kitagawa is much more comfortable, she is still awkward and weird about those kinds of things. The show is very wholesome, despite some episodes definitely treading the line of ecchi. I also do enjoy the duality of Gojo and Kitagawa when it comes to their relationship. Kitagawa pretty quickly understands that she is in love with him and wants to spend more time around him, whereas Gojo is kind of clueless. He sees her as someone who is more or less trading his work and skills in exchange for hanging out with him and being nice. Not because he thinks she's evil or anything, but because he has such low self-esteem that that's the only real rationale he can come to. That, and once again, he sees these experiences that Kitagawa is giving him as a way to broaden his horizon and become better at his craft of creating Hina dolls. But in the most recent episodes, I hope he is finally getting the bigger picture. Like I said, this is probably my second favorite show of the season. Maybe third, it's hard to say. But as usual, I am just romance trash. I just love how realistically written these two characters are. That, and I also love how neither one of them is a self-insert. They are both unique characters with their own flaws and developments. It is a really, really good anime and totally worth a watch after, of course, you finish the most recent episode of Attack on Titan. Thank you for watching.